Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, thesis writing itself is a very, tedious job, or itself is a very, it requires a lot of effort, right? So, thesis writing, it comes at the end when you have already done with your research work. Then you start compiling, but then again, thesis writing, it's a journey of your 3 years. In those 3 years, what you do and that you compile as a compendium is a thesis, right? So first of all, again, I think I should go on the slideshow from current slide. Yes. So in this, presentation, we will explore how to write the thesis, what are the components of the successful thesis, and how thesis can significantly enhance your academic performance and research impact, right? So first of all, what I'll start with, what is a PhD thesis? So it is a comprehensive document that marks the culmination, or let's say the termination of a doctoral research project. And it goes beyond the formality for degree completion, and it serves as a scholarly contribution to the field also, right? So it this PhD document that defends the original document, showcasing the it's your intellectual power, as well as how your thesis is making the substantial contribution to the existing academic knowledge. And again, it represents an opportunity for the researchers to leave a long lasting impact on their academic discipline. So, the first question which comes to your mind, how many words is a PhD thesis? See, it varies, right? If we say how many words for a PhD thesis, it varies from university to university. It because there are certain universities like from where I did my PhD, my thesis was just for, let's say 120 pages, right? Because I did from Thapar University, and from there, because the focus was more on the SSA publications. So again, they thought they made a deadline that it should not be more than 150 pages, right? But if we go to certain government universities, then there in government universities, the length of the thesis is quite,
Excuse me, ma'am.
elaborate, right? Yes,
Ma'am, the
yes,
slide
yes.
is not visible, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes. So it depends. Now, in case our university is concerned, so in our university, so the length of the thesis typically falls between 200 to 225 pages. But then those 200 to 225 pages, it includes your initial pages, where we start with the title page. Then it goes to the main thesis part, your this references or bibliography, which you call, and the last part is your annexures, right? So it falls between 200 to 225 pages. But again, in case the science subjects are concerned, the thesis is not that big, because the thesis is very limited in that those, because they are the experimental studies. But yes, in social sciences, the studies are, in social sciences, the length of the thesis is more elaborate, or in what we call as management stream. Again, whenever whatever you are doing for thesis, I'll just tell you what are the components, but again, the length of the thesis, that varies from university to university, and this is where you have to get back to your university, how many pages or what exactly you want us to write in your thesis. So the but key is not just meeting the word count, because I've got 30,000, 40,000, 70,000 word count, but ensuring that your thesis covers all the important components of the thesis, right? So again, you start from the introduction, you write the gaps, you go for this literature review, you go for methodology section, and then results, and finally the conclusion. And it's very important, in case nowadays, if you wish, you can relate your thesis to some SDG, right? Once your thesis is related to SDG, it automatically carries a weight over the others. Am I clear? Am I audible?
yes, ma'am.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
So first thing is the choosing a compelling topic, right? Let's go back, like when we select a particular topic or a particular title which goes, let's go back to 3 years beyond, when you are just entering into the thesis. And important is, your topic. The topic should be such that it should be researchable, right? It should be researchable first of all. Then the problem should persist, right? See, if nowadays, today, if someone wants to do a research on COVID, right? But then COVID is gone, right? So there's no point in, doing a research on COVID, or what are the after effects of the COVID. Yes, disaster management, may you can do a research, but not on, such topics, because these topics do not have the long lasting effects. Ultimately, maybe the by the time your, PhD is complete, then the things become obsolete. Then what? Then what you'll do? So again, here I always suggest my students that, please don't take up the topics related to, the shopping after COVID or behavior after COVID. That part is over. That it's gone. It's bygone now, right? So we need to leave these topics, and the topic has to be relevant. Yes. Now, again, if I see AI, if somebody wants to do the research in AI, but then AI may, again, you have to think like, imagine you'll be able to complete your research after 3 years. So where AI would be after 3 years, right? So always choose a topic which holds a, significance even after, or which is long lasting and holds significance after 3 to 5 years also, right? When I did my PhD in online shopping, that time, even the Amazon had not entered the Indian market. But then there was lot of change in the online shopping. But then what happened? So I kept on adding the variables, right? Even post PhD, I kept on adding, and adding the variables. Like nowadays, it's a time of virtual try-on technology, or AR, or chatbots, which were not there at that time. But yes, research never ends. So you keep on researching, you keep on doing the things, and you keep on engaging. So here the crux is that your topic sets the foundation for your research questions and overall direction. So always choose wisely, always be selective, always think of a good topic that remains with you even after your PhD is over, right? Now let's say if somebody is wanting wants to do research on e-learning. E-learning is still there, but the problem which was during the COVID, that is overcome now, right? So nowadays the problem is something different. So yes, but e-learning as such has not been removed from the Indian market, right? So e-learning is already there. India e-learn people still go take the classes to e-learning. So even online shopping is still there. But again, that you know things keep on changing, things keep on modifying. But the idea is COVID, for example, if we see the example of COVID, that COVID is nowhere, right? So doing research on what you used to feel 3 years before, so that will not give you compelling results. I'll give you an example. So the this is again, when we are doing some research on let's say sustainable crop residue management practices. So here the we what we do is we first of all identify the problem, and I always ask my candidates to be in sync, right? So research questions lead to your research objectives, research objectives lead to your hypothesis, and then your statistical tools, which is mandatory in my thesis, whichever I supervise, or in our university also, right? You start with the research questions. Let's say, what are the factors influencing farmers' adoption of sustainable crop residue management practices? So then research questions will lead to the research objectives, and then research objectives will lead to the hypothesis which we have framed after the thorough research. So idea is how to select, what are the steps to choose the right topic. First of all, you identify your research, identify your area of research, right? Then let's say an area of research is any example which you would like to see. Like I would like to interact with the candidates. Any potential area where you want in which area you would like to go for the research. Anyone can answer. Please unmute and answer. Any suggestion, any area which you would like to see. I think any potential area where you would like to see your research. You can write in the chat box also. I can pick up from there. Please write in the chat box in which area you would like to do the research. Or okay, if there's no response, let me go back to the PPT and I'll explain. Let's say uh, I want to do research. Okay, I want to do research on AI, right? Artificial intelligence. Now, what I'll do, AI is a broad, it's very broad field, right? So what I'll be doing is I'll be narrowing the field, right? Picking up the broad area, let's say role of AI in banking services, or role of AI in education, or role of AI in, let's say, marketing or online shopping, right? So then after narrowing the field, because area is AI, I narrowed it to, let's say, banking sector, or let's say online shopping. Now I'll be deciding the significance whether AI is being used in the online shopping or not, right? If it is being used, then you can always proceed ahead. Then next is, we read a lot, we read lot of research papers, we go through number of research, we try to find out the gaps also, like which are the areas which have not been able to we have not able to cover. And then within that you determine, okay, fine, AI is such a new, then let's go for the mixed method research, because qualitative research and quantitative research would work on this. And then you ensure that yes, this topic is achievable. I'll give you a simple example. Like let's say how to find an area is, just a moment, I'll open Scopus. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So let's say I want to do research on AI. ARD. Or I should say, in the title, the word should work on this. And now I'll go go for and research field. Let's say in and I want online online shopping, or e shopping, or e e-commerce, right? And I'll go for search. So in total, you can see how many documents came, 3,297. That means still it is a researchable areas. Suppose now if I go down and I'll say I want only business management and accounting, right? I want decision sciences. I don't want, see, if you can see here, you can see the number of conference papers is much more, 1787. What I'll do is conference paper is, there is not a rigorous review. I will choose only articles, right? I'll pick only articles. I want only research articles, right? And then I also want, I don't want the articles in press. Maybe tomorrow, they don't publish. So I want final. And if I say limit to, automatically the filter comes out to be how many? 248. So 248 is a very less, less number, where in now, since AI, online shopping, you can still pursue a research in this particular area, right? And if I analyze the results, I can analyze the results from here also. The simple SLR I'm doing to identify the topic, right? So in 2017, see, there are 2017 mein there are very few articles. 2020 mein there were 4 articles, right? And this is 2025 mein there are 17 articles which have been published till date. Then from here we can see the journals. Which are the journals, right? So these are the journals: Journal of Retailing and Consumer Services, Journal of Theoretical and Applied Economic Commerce Research, Decision Support System, Electronic Commerce. These are the 5 journals which are already publishing the articles. From there you can see the stats, right? Now, if I see documents by author, so these are the authors who are publishing heavily, top 10 authors. So from there also you can, find out their articles and then you can work upon them. Let's say, I say Yogeshi Divedi hai, Deng is there, Ahmad is there, Akar is there. There are 3 to 4 articles on this. Similarly, you can, documents by country. So here India is having 49 RT documents in Scopus. That means India may already research is there, but it's very less, only 49 articles. So now you can pick up India. You can say, okay, in India, we find out the scope from the Scopus database. In this string, there are only 49 documents, and this we can pick up as a topic. So this is how we select a topic, or this is how you should select a topic, because this will give you the exact idea like whether the research is there. In case the research is very less in your domain or your area, you can simply proceed towards that particular topic, right? Shall I proceed? It's okay. Any questions? Yes. Any questions, participants? Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Now, the next step is how to choose a research topic. And again, in our university, we are trying to relate the research topic with any SDG, and in case you can do that, will work wonder, right? That will really, give an edge to your this thing. Now, again, research is a backbone of your thesis. You need to utilize the academic databases, libraries, and etc. for getting the articles. Let's say, just now I just checked with the Scopus. Similarly, you can check with the Web of Science also. You can check up with the Google also, right? In Google also, you can search and you can work upon this. So when it comes to structuring your thesis, there are, the thesis is divided into following parts. The first is your preliminary pages: introduction, literature review, methodology, results, discussion, and annexures. So every section should flow in a coherent manner. So that means it should guide the reader through your arguments and findings also. Let's start with the components of the thesis. First of all, uh, components of the thesis, that is the preliminary pages. Preliminaries may, first of all, there's a title page, right? Title page is the format which is given by the university, right? Every university has its own title page. Then there's a declaration by the research scholar. This is also as per the format which is given by the institution or the university. This is followed by the certificate by supervisors as per the format again given by the university. Because see, certificate for the supervisors, every university has got its specific format. The language remains the same, only you have to put your topic and you have to fill up it. Then acknowledgement or dedication means all those people who have worked for your thesis, that need to be acknowledged. Abstract, this is abstract indicates that it's for thesis. It's just 1 to 2 pages abstract, which gives you an idea what this thesis is about. Now, how to write the abstract? Because in what can do is you can follow the format of the Emerald. Emerald says that you write the research papers by Emerald, where you have to write the purpose, methodology. I'll just give you an example. I'll give you an example. I'm showing it with the help of a paper. See, yes. So can you see this paper? Is
Yes,
the
ma'am, we
paper?
can see.
Yes, you know. So now writing the abstract, because people find it, compendium. You need to, compile your entire thesis into 1 or 2 pages. So what you can do is, uh, what like in our university we are just using these headings: purpose, design methodology, findings, research limitations, if any, and originality, right? And on this basis we are just developing a document of 2 pages, which is 2 pages, which gives us the abstract, right? So entire thesis, if put under these headings or subheadings, will help you out in making your abstract easier. Otherwise, what happens? You write the entire thesis, but when it comes to abstract, okay, we'll write it later. Oh, later karte karte, that the things become very late. So ideally, under these 5 headings, you can proceed for the abstract, right? Now, list of tables, then table of contents we have to give, list of tables, list of figures, acronyms wherever necessary, that we have to provide. Chapter references, yes, Sara, this part comes later on, right? So this is how we give the formatting: introduction, Indian statement of the problem, research objectives, propositions, hypothesis we cover in this. Then this is the how the table of contents is to be made, right? You write every section wise, and this is a sample table format, because we go for the APA formatting. So don't make lines all through the tables. Just write the table, demographic detail, and first two, only the headers should be lined, and then the last part should be lined. This is how table numbering has to be given at the top, whereas this, this numbering, the ये वाला जो है figure numbering, which has to be given at the end and along with the source if you have taken from someone, right? So this is the template which we follow. Again, minimum length is, see, you can see minimum length in, it is 130 pages minimum, excluding tables, references, and annexures, right? And minimum, in our university we follow the length of 40,000 words. So first of all, just check that introduction is the 20% of your total word count, right? So in introduction, we give the overview, we give the conceptualization and operationalization. Conceptualization and operationalization means, like, we give the operational definitions of the constructs. So anybody, can you tell me what are the operational definitions of the constructs? What are the operational definitions of the construct? So operational definitions of the constructs are, see, when you modify a definition as per your thesis, right? Then I'll give you the example also. Don't worry. I'm just explaining chapter one. Then I'll go to the thesis and I'll explain how it is written. Then context, because then you write the industry and geographical context also. You work on what is the need for the study. Problem statement is to be written very carefully. Problem statement is something which will lead to your research questions, research objectives, and hypothesis. So I'll give you an example of chapter one. See, this is overview, right? Overview is just giving you an idea. Then telehealth initiatives in India. Again, telehealth architecture in India. Existing scenario in India. Then this is health kiosk, what the government, e-Sanjeevani. Then this is the architecture which is available of telehealth architecture in India. Then there is Ayushman. These are the initiatives which government has taken, which you, even if your topic is like this, you can also give. Then views of Indian Prime Minister on telehealth, because just after the this government initiatives, they cannot be without this telehealth. So as a result of which telehealth has been given utmost priority by our PM Modi. So this is how we work on this. Then COVID-19, yes, I have just mentioned. See, telehealth again, um, it came just after COVID-19 only. It picked up when all of us were, just a minute, just when all of us were struck at homes, and if for patients, the doctors as well as the patients also resorted to the telehealth architecture. Then uh, this is regulations. There are just now. Please check, this is the problem statement. Like, problem statement says that there are non-standardized service quality measurement scales which hinder. So what is the problem? Because service quality is there. Everybody is going through the service quality, but non-standardized service quality measurement scales are there, which cannot be applied to the medical technology, right? These circle and all, they cannot be declared. Therefore, there is a need for the study to develop. This is the problem, right? Key scales are there, but they're not used for telehealth. So as a result of which, there is a need to study or develop a comprehensive model covering all the dimensions related to your medical service quality. And this is the gap. This is the research gap. These are the research questions, research objectives, and need of the study. Now, uh, now, this is the construct and operational definitions. Are you able to see this word, operational definitions?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So operational definition means, like, now operational definition is how you have molded the definition in context to your study. Let's say this is telehealth user. So if I am using a construct telehealth user, so who is a doctor, right? Doctor, a telehealth doctor is a healthcare professional who provides medical services remotely using digital technologies like video consultations, phone calls. That means I have defined, I have operationalized telehealth user in this, right? Similarly, who is a patient? So, a telehealth patient is an individual who utilizes the digital technologies such as video consultations or online platforms to access healthcare services remotely, right? So, this is how we give the operational definitions, and on the basis of this, we have given a proposed conceptual framework in this thesis, right? So, is that clear? Shall I proceed? Yes, participants, shall I proceed?
Yes.
Okay. Now, up till date, we have done with the introduction part. Now, that is 20% of total word count, right? Now, the second chapter goes for theoretical background and literature review, and it covers the 25% of your. First of all, what you have to do is you have to write the support theories for the study. Then again, you have to give the literature review and hypothesis development and theoretical linkages. And at the end, please make it sure that at the end you write the summary of every chapter, right? So here also I'll show you how we have done in a thesis. So this is the theoretical background and literature review. We will start with the introduction, little bit introduction, but yes, now important is you start with the search strategy. What would be your search strategies, right? How you came for the literature. Let's say, these were the keywords which I used to find the relevant articles on telemedicine, Boolean operators, like these were the keywords which were used, and these were the academic databases which were used. Because nowadays, again, when the examiner is there, he's asking like how you came to this number, right? So this is the Prisma framework which we give. This is the Prisma framework where we have added the filter since 210, because before 210 there was nothing related to the telehealth, and then there were 195 articles were identified, duplicates were removed, these were shortlisted, and finally 66 articles were finally selected. Prisma stands for preferred reporting items for systematic reviews and meta-analysis. It's very important to give systematic literature review or bibliometric analysis in your thesis, because that helps you to identify the gap, right? Now again, imagine when I did little bit of systematic literature review to find out what type of research is already existing in the Indian scenario. So if I had put on that filter, let's say if I put that filter, Scopus may see, and again if I put that filter and may India, let's see what will happen. 13 documents found. See, that means only 13 people are working on this. So it means there's ample scope for you to work on this particular topic, AI in e-commerce or AI in online shopping, AI in e-shopping, AI in, because again, from there the gap is visible. So these are the things which we do at the initial stage. But yes, we do report all these things in our thesis, right? So this is the number of documents per year, right? This is how the we given little bit of this Prisma framework. Now comes the theoretical underpinnings and literature review. So theoretical underpinnings means wherein we have to in theoretical underpinnings we link our research with some theory, right? So we link our research with some theory. That means we are theory is what? Theory is just giving us a way to proceed, right? Theory is something which gives us a way to proceed. Theory is something which gives us the constructs, right? So whenever in our social sciences we always look for a theory, right? We look for a theory and then we proceed ahead with the theory. We try to add the constructs over there and then we proceed. Like, let's say I'll give you here example. In this theory, we have in this thesis, we used DeLone and MacLean information system model, because we wanted to work on the uh, we wanted to work on the drivers and barriers of uh, telehealth adoption in India. So this theory says the two constructs: information quality, medical service quality, and then system quality. The Lone and McLean model works on three constructs, that is information, medical service quality, and your system quality. So this is the model, right? This is the model which we took up a base model, and then on by taking this as a base model, we proposed a conceptual framework which I show you in chapter 1. This one. See this one, right? System quality, medical service quality, and information quality. And then it is user satisfaction and continued usage. The another theory, since this research wanted to work with the drivers as well as the barriers, so we took the model, second model by scientifically also, right? We took the second model by scientifically also. That means, that indicates that, for to study we need to work on the drivers as well as the barriers also, right? Now after this, uh, we bifurcated the literature review into various subsections. Let's say, first of all, telehealth, its role and adoption, telehealth, Indian perspective, studies related to facilitators, studies related to impediments to telehealth. So we bifurcated the literature review under these subsections and kept on adding these, studies. Studies related to facilitators, let's say, studies related to impediments also, right? And then came your hypothesis development, and in hypothesis development we develop the hypothesis like this, and we these are the how hypotheses are developed, because every hypothesis has to be supported by a literature, you know generally organize these thesis may we hypothesis is always developed, right? Hypothesis is always developed, and it is developed from the past literature. We need to show the critical review of literature so as to come with the hypothesis development. So this is hypothesis development and theoretical linkages, which through literature, by taking the backing of the theory, we develop this. Now, this is the, some big chapter, like it should have the 25% of the total word count. Now, if you're 40,000 is the word count, 25% of total word count, you can always see. Next, we go for the third chapter, that is the methodology section, which is very important, because maximum questioning at the time of thesis comes from this, right? So this chapter covers the research methodology. This chapter covers your, your this thing, scope of the study, what type of research design you are taking, whether you are taking the descriptive, exploratory, correlational, or what type of research design on which you are working. Now, like say, in let's say in human, this in social sciences, and in let's say social sciences and in management, we mostly go for the survey studies, right? So in survey studies, what we do is we develop a instrument. We develop an instrument. Instrument is nothing but it's a questionnaire. Or if you want to do some qualitative, then you have to, show the qualitative research also, and then you have to show the interview schedule, right? After this, you work on the sampling design. Sample, what was the sample, how the sample was calculated, whether it was through G power, or it was the random sampling, or it was the non-random sampling. Nowadays, just, if we see the research papers, the companies generally prefer the this multi-stage sampling. Multi-stage sampling means, uh, first of all, let's say you pick up clusters, or you pick up certain geographical areas, and from there, those from clusters you pick up people from as per your convenience. Those This is which we call as multi-stage sampling, where you combine 2 to 3 sampling methods, and then you proceed for this. Now, data collection, how you collected the data. Then again, when it is a questionnaire, it's very important to go for the face and content validity of a questionnaire, right? So you what or whatever is the experiment, if you are doing it, Then also again, reliability and validity is very very important, which needs to be covered. And maximum questions, they come from this chapter of the sample. You need to justify the sample and everything. So here again, uh, like data collection, then pre-testing is when you show your questionnaire to certain field experts and get their inputs, and then these were incorporated. And after that, you conduct a pilot study, and you in pilot study you conduct the Cronbach alpha. Again, I'll show you how we did in this thesis, right? So the chapter 3 is research design and methodology. Again, uh, research design, it's a type of research. We gave the, it's a mixed method research. Then sampling design, sample unit, scope of the study, instrument design. See the scale items. Again, in this research, we develop the scale items through, through interviews, right? Which we have mentioned. Different interviews were conducted with the doctors. Then these were the constructs which were identified, and this is the procedure of the, which we did. You can please read out this procedure. The preliminary draft of the questionnaire were discussed with few doctors from PGI and government of Himachal, who are actively involved in the this thing, telehealth endeavors. A few scale items were modified and simplified. Further suggestion of the expert helped us to reframe the questionnaire using the latest technology, and amended questionnaire were again sent back to the same cohort. This is the pre-testing procedure, right? After getting their approval, the pilot study was conducted with the 35 industry experts and 33 patients. So this is again very important part, and this is pre-testing, where we give the, we always anonymize these, because subject, what were the details of the subject experts, and subject experts what they did, right? We don't show their names, and we just show their name and design and contact information. And after their inputs, these are the construct and the scale items which was before the pilot study, and the item which was after the pilot study. You can see the difference. A telehealth system can provide useful information about patients complaints and symptoms, but here it is telehealth system can provide useful information about patient symptoms. Means this indicates what? This indicates that, this was a double barreled questions, right? Both the two, these two things are different. Complaints and symptoms are different. So they cannot be taken, in a one question. So that means these double barreled questions were removed after the pilot study or pre-testing. See, these are the scale items before pilot study, scale item before, after pilot study. And this is the reliability of the instrument. So reliability values, it has to be, what, the reliability Cronbach alpha value has to be more than zero point 0.7, which is there in every case, right? And then data collection, final data collection. This is again important. When the data is there, we go for the quality checks, right? So in quality checks, first of all, in case there are missing, in case there are missing values, so then they are, they either those scale, those responses are removed, or the scale items are replaced by the average, right? Missing values, they are replaced by the average, or what we call as arithmetic mean. Then there is a non-response bias, which we check. Non-response bias means that, first of all, let's say you're doing a survey, you went to 30, 40 people, and they filled up, as soon as possible. They filled up in a one go. But there were few people who, who took time. For those people, you had to go for the repeated procedures. Ki, please fill up the form, please fill up the form. So in that case, we assume that they might not have read the entire form and filled up like this. So in that case, we check the mean and standard deviation between the early and late respondents. Here you can check. And again, there, if the difference is very less, that means the non-response bias is not present. Any thesis which is for the health related, that has to be, that needs to be gone through, what, that needs to be gone through the institutional informed consent procedure, which was taken in this case also, right? Then since the your sorry, dependent and independent variables. There's only one questionnaire where you are checking the dependent and independent variables. So in that case, all there are the chances of common method bias. So which for this we conduct the exploratory factor analysis, and with one, and again the value, if the value is less than 50%, that means common method bias is not present. So these are the demographic profile which also we add in the third chapter. In case your university says that demographic profile has to be added in the fourth chapter, you may please proceed for the as per the norms of your university, right? Now comes the chapter 4. The pilot study, initial data quality analysis, statistical tools. Chapter 4 covers your objectivized analysis and interpretation. See here also, again overview analysis of objective 1. See, this is objective 1 and this is the analysis of objective 1, where we uh, cover all the statistical tools. This is the analysis of the objective 2, and these are the objective, these are the related hypotheses, and this is the descriptive stats. Likewise, we go for we go for structure equation modeling and all that to overcome these objectives. Then the after the chapter 4, what is important is that is your discussion, implication, and conclusion section, right? Discussion is very important. Discussion says always try to relate your findings with the previous studies. You need to relate your findings with the previous studies. So discussion says that ob- again it has to be objectivized. To let's say the first objective was to propose India-centric IOMT enabled architecture. So again here you are relating your findings with the previous studies like this. Similarly, discussion related to objective 2, you are relating your findings with the previous studies like this, like which study is supporting your study and which study is against your study. Likewise, we go for objectivized analysis, and important here is implications. Implications, there are three types of implications which we cover. Implications here we cover, first implication is a theoretical implication. That means how your research has built up a theory, how your research has extended the existing literature body, and how your research is important for the academicians and the researchers who are doing research in the same field. So once that implication, theoretical implication is there, then you write the practical or managerial implication. Practical or managerial implication says that how your research has enhanced the value of practitioners, right? Because let's say, so now this is the telehealth or telemedicine. So how this research has enhanced the value of uh, you know practical or practitioners or managerial. And then is the societal, that means social implications, that let's say now it's telehealth, it has given a boost to the economy, it has created the jobs, likewise. And then there is limitation and future scope, followed by the conclusions. uh, Afterwards there are references. Then after references you need to add the papers which you have published, book or whatever you have published, that you need to add up. Then questionnaire, instrument, list of tables, everything, permissions, top guidelines वगैरह in case that is required, and list of publications. I'll show in this thesis in case it's there. See, after references, this is the questionnaire before pilot study. This is the questionnaire before pilot study. Then this questionnaire was modified in the Hindi language also, and then in the Punjabi language also, because this was the need of the hour. This was what was recommended, and then it is the questionnaire after your pilot testing. Questionnaires for doctor, questionnaire for patients. Likewise, we did this comprehensive work, and then there is, list of publications and annexures which need to be taken care of. Then again, writing is an again. I'll conclude with say that don't. It's a very tedious process that includes lot of revising. Now I was going through this thesis and I found hundred of mistakes, which I'll be giving calling to the student and asking him to correct all these, because whenever the moment you go through your thesis, you will find errors, even grammatical or spacing or every kind of error you will be finding. So it's the purpose is to revise and revise, and again don't hesitate to get the feedback from your peers, because in our university, whenever the thesis is there, we get it evaluated first from the internal, then from the external, where from the in external it goes one outside India or one within India, that to outside Punjab, right? So in this case we have to very careful. We have to read, revise, and draft in a way that it's easy to comprehend. So, um, to conclude, mastering thesis writing requires dedication and strategic planning. What I suggest to my students is, once the progress review presentations are over, just give 15 days for the development of each chapter. 15 days, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And within the 75 days, you'll be able to compile your thesis. But yes, chapter 1 has to be written at the end. So this was all about my side. Any questions? Anything which you would like to ask from the thesis point of view? Yes, any questions?
Thank you, ma'am. Dear participants, the session is open for discussion now. You can unmute and interact with ma'am, or you can post your queries in chat box also. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you all.
Yes. Yes, any feedback?